Okay, our colleague Muhammad Razzaz Employment Department is here, so most of the panelists are here. Dimitri also here. Okay, good. So I'm waiting. Our
Agency is connected. Mr. Alwai is connected normally.
Mr. Aldoer is connected, yes, and Mr. Isidro, our
He's connected now.
okay, good. So we will start soon. Until we will start, I just we are very sorry to have this meeting online only, but at the same time, you should understand that situation, the sanitary situation and the crisis so far does not allow us to be together around the table. And I noticed during this past 3 4 months that holding meeting online is very very difficult because of these technology. Sometimes technology disappoint us because of many factors, but absolutely technology is very important for us as bring us around the table even virtually. So please, in order to be successful and to be very very efficient, those who will not be speaking, I hope that they will mute themselves. Otherwise, my team will be muting them. And the other rule that we stated on the agenda about the length of the intervention of people. So we hope that all panelists and speakers and when country want to intervene to commit to this time given to them in order to be fair with everybody and in order to comply to the timing that that given for us to be broadcasting this meeting online. Uh, so this is the general rules that somebody asked me to say them to you. I hope that we all, including myself, remember to comply to these rules. And with this, I think that we are ready to start the meeting. As you know, today we are convening member states of the Union for the Mediterranean, as well as international organization, international financial institute, as well as youth and women organization working on the subject of water, employment, migration, and water, energy, food ecosystem Nexus. This is the first joint meeting for the two task force in accordance to the instruction of our senior official and the water expert working group. The objective will be given by the co-presidency Jordan and EU DG Environment with also very illustrative remarks by our Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Isidro Gonzalez, who's managing the water, energy, blue economy sector at the Union for the Mediterranean from Spain. So with this, I would like to give the floor for Jordan, Mr. Mohammed El Doueri, for his kick off the meeting. Mohammed, floor is yours. Seems that Muhammad has some technical difficulty. So, hello, Mr. Andrew Murphy, the EU co-president. Can you start the meeting, please?
I can, yeah. And if you give me a little signal when my 3 minutes is up, I'll try to be relatively brief. So first of all, I'd just like to say hello again to everybody. As I said at the Water Experts Group meeting, it's glad to be back and looking down the list of participants to see many familiar faces that I have to say I've missed you over the last few years. This online format actually enables us to perhaps participate in meetings where we wouldn't always be able to travel to. So I think that's something that's very welcome. But I'll limit my remarks, I'll make them very brief. The first one is perhaps to say that we're supporting the UfM water agenda through the financial assistance of the Commission. And we're very pleased to see this particular activity beginning to go into the details. And I think one of the things also to highlight there is that, it's not just the European Commission. You see that Sweden is supporting this activity today. So it's a good example of how the different member states of the European Union can work together. And the Union for the Mediterranean offers that coordination mechanism that enables us all to work together rather smoothly. I think as we're really moving into the concrete activities here, what would be nice perhaps would be able to look to the future to increase the visibility of some of these activities, and also on our part to maybe look at how to better link in to some of the wider UfM work that's going on environment and climate change. And so maybe that's something that we can look forward to in the future. I think also this work is very, very topical at the moment. We're in the middle of a crisis. Resources are becoming more and more stretched, and you're a little bit ahead of the curve, I would say, in the decision that was made last year to go to identify the synergies between the two nexuses. And I think again, this process is really showing us perhaps a good way forward, how we can better fit the various pieces of the puzzle together. And I think for that, again, we're watching with great interest, and we're very supportive of the work that's going to be taking place today. Also, when I spoke at the Water Experts Group, I talked a lot about the European Green Deal. This will be the thing that frames our activities for the future. And I think what you see is significant convergence between the European Green Deal and its recovery plan and the principles and goals that underpin the proposed synergetic framework program. I mean, the Green Deal is a growth strategy, but it attacks the problem from several different angles in an integrated manner, all of which are relevant in this setting. And it also aims to be a just growth strategy, so that nobody's left behind. And again, the topics being dealt with in this forum are precisely falling within that framework. So I think going forward, we're going to see, or hopefully we'll be able to see that we're going forward in the same direction, and that the links between what we are doing and the UfM will remain strong and remain concrete. I think I've got 3 minutes. I've probably gone over the 3 minutes. So at that point, I just say I stop. It's good to be here. It's good to see you all again. And I look forward to the discussions that are to come.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for giving the perspective from the European Union DG Environment point of view. Now I give the floor for our co-presidency from Jordan. Mohammed Dweri, are you there?
Can you hear me? Sorry,
yes,
I was having a problem with the mic. Yes.
Yes, go ahead. Floor is yours, Mr. Assistant to the Secretary General of the Ministry of Water and Irrigation of Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Al-Abbadi, and thanks for everybody. And I would like to welcome all of you for this. I hope that will be a fruitful session. I'm not going to take that very long time, but to give a brief about what we are doing in the water sector in Jordan. When it comes to the Nexus, we are working actually heavily and more with a concrete steps with Ministry of Energy, let's say, because the energy is one of the main pillar in the water sector when it comes to the operation and maintenance cost. We are considering energy is 50% of that cost. So we are establishing a high-level committee that headed by the Secretary General from the both sectors. That committee discuss most of the time the overlap and the interlink between the two sector strategic documents and the strategic directions, and how can we synchronize the both efforts rather than overlapping and making problems from one sector to another sector. What we faced from let's say as an example from the energy sector, that for the last 2 years they raised the cost of the energy, and that might affecting us badly, because it affect the O&M cost recovery ratio in a negative way for the water sector. After that, we established that committee. We call it the Nexus Committee in English, the name. And that committee is moving well, and there is a technical committee working under that committee for the development of the practical steps forward. As well as we have this kind of cooperation and dialogue, strategic dialogue with the energy sector. We have another one with the agriculture Ministry of Agriculture, and we've been talking with them and on the using of the treated wastewater, because we are pushing as much as we can to make the treated wastewater up to the standards and to be used by the farmers in Jordan, so they will minimize their relying on the water, the fresh water from the groundwater. So by that mechanism, we are trying to secure some fresh water to the drinking purposes, while we keep the treated wastewater for the farming activities. Right now in Jordan, we are developing the third national water master plan. It's a strategic document that will cover everything: the strategic directions in the water sector, the strategic overlap with the water, between the water sector, energy sector, agriculture sector, any other sectors that might affect the water sector. Besides, we are updating the capital investment plan, updating the strategic document itself, the policies. This is a huge job and document. It will be ready maybe in between 2 to 3 years. It might take time. We started the last year. We are developing that document with the GIZ here in Jordan. What we are looking for, actually, I mean, we start with the development of the rapid assessment. We call it rapid assessment document or report. In that rapid assessment, it's still under revision, in-house revision, so we cannot share it right now. But I hope after we approve it, we can share it maybe with the team.
Okay.
We focus on the climate change, one of the main pillars that affecting the water scarcity in Jordan, and we are doing some kind of analysis on how can we make sure or study the impact of the climate change, and to make sure how to overcome that impact, and to make our investment for the future in a way or another, adapting or mitigating the climate change. The initial results.
Mr. Mohammed, thank you very much for the introduction. I think you can elaborate on this very interesting program, on the work program session, as to reflect Jordan position and Jordan planning on this. As an introduction remark from Jordan, I thank you very much. I want to comment because I need to be fair.
It's my pleasure.
Now,
yes.
Now I will give the floor for Mr. Isidro Gonzalez Afonso, the Deputy Secretary General of Water, Environment and Blue Economy. He's from now he's in Madrid to follow up the regional forum. So, Mr. Isidro, floor is yours. We
Thank
would
you.
like to hear your perspective on the issue.
Thank you. Al-Motaz. Welcome everybody to this more than 60, almost 70 participants today. Greetings from Madrid. Very strange to see this time of the year Madrid almost empty with no tourism. This is the result of the pandemic. This is happening not only in Spain but all over, and we can see that all over the Mediterranean region. Anyway, we are here today to be extremely brief, to continue working with the UfM water agenda, which is being developed, and a great job is being done thanks to all of you. And today we have decided to, well, this is a continuation of a very fruitful meeting that we had in June, the Water Expert Group, which was a big success, because now even doing meetings online can be very fruitful and very useful. So today we have the same objective. We have put together the task forces of the water, energy, food and ecosystem, Nexus, and the water and climate migration. These two Nexus, these two links are very important. We have two elements affecting the whole picture now. One is was mentioned by our colleague from the European Commission, is the European Union Green Deal, which will help us to foster and to raise awareness about the problems with water. And secondly, also the effects of the pandemic, which is already producing an increase in water consumption in many countries of the region. So I look forward to having a very fruitful debate today, and that we will contribute to the preparation of the work plan for 220-222 of the two Nexus together, and that we can produce results to continue working under the umbrella of the UfM water agenda. Welcome everybody. I'm looking forward to hearing you, and I pass the floor back to you, Almotas. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Secretary General, for this. Absolutely, the UfM Secretariat will continue the role to facilitate, but the ownership, as you know, is given from the member state and our partner. With that, I had received a comment that you can, participant, send your question on the chat box, and also there are two languages available, English and French, so you can use the translation upon your convenience. At this stage, I will give the floor for my colleague, Mr. Vangelis Constantinos, is the CEO of the Global Water Partnership, our technical facilitator, and for the UfM Water Agenda with the Nexus, as well as water employment migration, to moderate the session. Vangelis, please, can you take the floor?
Thank you very much, Almotas. Good morning or good afternoon to everybody. It is a challenging time, as Isidro has clearly described for everybody, and here we are in this task force meeting. It is impressive that we are reaching more than 65 participants, and we have even more registered, so 18 countries and more than 20 regional institutions and organizations. Hopefully this provides for the interest on this task force or on this technical meeting. Let me turn directly to the theme leaders of the two task forces, the Water Energy Food Ecosystem Nexus and the Water Employment Migration, going first to Lebanon, and Engineer Mona Faki, the Director of Water at the General Directorate of Hydraulics and Electric Resources at the Ministry of Energy and Water. Mona, to you. Mona had a problem with her mic. I don't know if this has been solved.
Hello?
Yes, Mona, go ahead.
Yes. Thanks, Mr. Vangelis. Thanks, Mataz. Thanks for the all UF team. Thanks for Global Water Partnership. Thanks for all the partners to make all these efforts to let the UfM agenda plan succeed. Actually, I'm glad to welcome you at the joint meeting of the two UfM task forces in my capacity as chair of the UfM task force on water, energy, food ecosystem Nexus. It's very encouraging to witness such a great participation in this working meeting by governments, stakeholders, donors, some of them new in our circle. We look forward to your steady engagement and contributions. Over spring, the COVID-19 crisis has put a temporary halt in our joint work, but here we are today short after our positive recap of the UfM water agenda. At the June informal web meeting, COVID already poses even more pressure on our societies and economies, and its impacts are expected to last for long. But this should make us only more determined for solutions. Today, there are needed more than ever. So it's a high time to go to practical and tangible. I'm happy to see such an action-oriented approach and the draft work plan of the two thematic areas, as well as in the synergetic Wi-Fi Nexus and UfM framework program. We look forward to the timely launching of activities, their full implementation and their quick upscaling on our side. We will support these in making happen. We should aim at striking an optimal amongst Wi-Fi Nexus sectors, objectives and needs, while strengthening water's position in the national development agendas and financing. While doing this, we should keep focus on human rights, gender, youth, jobs, migration, as well as hydro diplomacy as a tool of great added value. We had the opportunity to thoroughly discuss these and define ways forward at the first Nexus roundtable in the MENA wider Mediterranean in November 2018 in November. organized by the Lebanese Ministry of Energy and Water, UfM, and Global Water Partnership, with the support of SIDA and GEF. We are thankful to development partners like Sweden, the European Commission, and GEF for their support. We wish to explore more options for assistance, like with the Green Climate Fund through the UfM Global Water Partnership. In our meeting today, let us be practical. Let us discuss the how-to of our actions, remaining focused on concrete outcomes and shared benefits. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mona. Your call for action is very clear, and hopefully we will be able to advance immediately following this meeting, as well as your commitment to assist in making this happen. So thank you very much again. Let me turn to Italy as a co-lead of the Water Employment Migration Task Force, and to Ambassador Enrico Granara, who is the coordinator of the Euro-Mediterranean multilateral activities at the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ambassador Granara.
Good afternoon, everyone. Do you hear me well?
Yes, very well.
Thank you so much. And I would like to thank you, the two task forces on water of the UfM, for inviting me to convey a general message. In the same way I was able to express yesterday at the senior official meeting in teleconference of the UfM. And that was the time when I was saying that I'm now following the preparation of the Ponza Prima Med initiative, which will take place on Monday, September 14. And the two task forces on water of the UfM are, in a way, an important stakeholder or partner, if I might say, of this event. This event will have two segments, and the first one, the more operational, will work as an interinstitutional conference, including cabinet ministers, foreign affairs, agriculture, territorial cohesion, tackling issues such as sustainable development, circular economy, climate action, food security and migrations, and implication on human health and civil protection. Ponza is a small island off the coast of Rome, is in the Tyrrhenian Sea, and it is a very symbolic place, not only for Italian history, but for the history of Europe, of the 20th century history of Europe. This is where a manifesto for Europe was launched in 1941 by a group of high-profile political prisoners during the fascist dictatorship. They, despite the hardships they were suffering, they were able to see the future for an integrated Europe. So it's an ideal place, Ponza, to launch a new manifesto for Europe and the Mediterranean working together. And I would say that this is a timely initiative on the way to the 21st anniversary of the Barcelona Declaration in late November, and at a time when we have reason to believe that the new Green Deal, I was listening very attentively to the remarks by Mr. Andrew Murphy on the synergies between the different approaches from Brussels to the Mediterranean. We have reason to believe that the new Green Deal will have more attention to the Mediterranean from a strategic standpoint, which has implications also in earmarking the necessary resources to work on the different projects. So it is a timely initiative, that of Ponza, like more in general, the work that your two groups are doing. And with this in mind, I wish you the best course of action today, and congratulating the Secretariat for the high level of attendance, and which is the prerequisite for the two task force's success. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for making the link of the Prima Ponza conference with the works of the two task forces, and of course for your long-term commitment on the water employment migration, and then with the linkage with the UfM Nexus and your leadership. We wouldn't have got here without Italy's leadership. Let me turn immediately to Turkey, the co-lead of the water employment migration, to Dr. Tukba Evrem Maden, who is an expert at the Turkish Water Institute representing the government. Tukba?
Thank you, Vangelis. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to see all of you again. We are here to take actions for the concrete steps, as we understand from the agenda, with elaborating with these two task force actions. We know that these two task forces and the two other forces have intersection with each other in the context of cause and effect. They also complete each other. Of course, there will be overlaps, maybe when we make projects, but we can separate or elaborate together. This is my idea. You know, we had 5 water employment and migration meetings since 2017, and our main objective is putting theory into practice these days. And you know, for overcome the water challenges, because one of the main aim is overcome the water challenges in the region, and which is not the main reason, but the trigger of the unemployment, migration, and the other issues. You know, Union for Mediterranean region, half of the Union for Mediterranean region countries located in semi-arid and arid area, and they are not water-rich countries. And for the Union for the Mediterranean region stability, I think first of all, sustainable and the efficient use of water is an essential. Also, mobilizing the financial resources with the guidance of the financial strategy. Also, cooperation among the countries. We are ready to cooperate with the other countries, with the Union for Mediterranean countries, under the umbrella of the Union for Mediterranean. Also, increase the resilience capacity is an important issue, resilience capacity of the member countries to tackle to the, you know, there are lots of obstacles in the region, you know, the climate change, also population movement, unemployment, economical crisis, political instability. These are the obstacles, and with the increasing the resilience capacity, I think we can tackle and overcome these problems. And before I also, last year in the Rome meeting, I also offered to collect the best practices or the projects which are related, for example, for the water employment and migration projects. Maybe we can collect them in the best practices catalog or some book or some report. I think it will be great. And thank you very much. I hope it will be a fruitful meeting.
Thank you very much, Tukba. Turkey's leadership and assistance has been critical so far, and we very much look forward to continuing being in the lead together with Italy in this component. We have pointed to the fact that on the intersections and you know, that the different task forces complete one another. This is indeed in the very essence, and we need on one side to be pragmatic and on the other side to be ambitious in order to get there. It's taken long until we reach this point where we get into concrete, and we look forward to the next steps. Let me inform you that Yosra Al-Bakar, who was to address us on behalf of SIDA, unfortunately had an urgent obligation last moment, so she had to decline. She sends her regards and the expression of SIDA in supporting these work lines, these thematic areas, as overall the UfM water agenda. I believe that we all have perfect proof of SIDA's interest in this process. Let me turn to Mr. Mohammed El Razaz, who is the Economic Development and Employment Division Officer at the UfM Secretariat. Mohammed?
Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to have this intervention in this very important event. I'll do my best to stick to my 3 minutes. I work for the Economic Development and Employment Division, as you rightly said, and we're very happy, and we actually welcome the concept and the focus and the emphasis on the water employment migration nexus. We think it's about time we let go, and I think that the current pandemic is forcing us to re-examine our concepts and this artificial splitting or separation of our priority areas. We believe that we're entering into an age of nexuses. So within this spirit, I would like to highlight one of the most important, a flagship initiative, if you may, at the UfM Secretariat, which forms an integral part of our approach to addressing the employment-related challenges in the UfM region. I invite you to have a look at our UfM Med for Jobs initiative, the Mediterranean Initiative for Jobs. All the information is on our website, but just briefly, this has become a fully fledged pipeline of cross-sectoral projects that try to address the employment challenges from all 3 dimensions at once, from the supply side, from the demand side, and from the intermediation or the matching dimension. As such, it has been able to support 13 projects with over 100,000 beneficiaries and over 800 micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Any potential project that would be eligible for addressing employment challenges in the water sector or within the nexus of the water employment migration is welcome to join this initiative. And this is why I invite you to, again, to have a look at this initiative and see whether a project initiative or project could fit within the umbrella of the Med for Jobs initiative. I leave it here. I don't want to monopolize more time, and I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. We have rightly said it is the age of the nexuses, and here we are to re-examine and to get into the synergy. It goes without saying that the flagship initiative of the UfM, the Med for Jobs, provides for action lines that we would like to see in the UfM water agenda, and we very much look forward in getting this into operational terms. Let me turn immediately to Mr. Al-Motaz Abadi, Managing Director of the UfM Secretariat. Everybody knows Al-Motaz. Al-Motaz, to you.
Thank you very much, Vangelis, for giving me the floor back as a speaker, not as a moderator. It's really more fun to be a speaker than moderator. Anyhow, responding to our objective always at the UfM Secretariat is to place ourselves at your disposal. As you can see, we have said that the UfM water agenda and the UfM work in general is focused on many pillars, including the ownership. So we are very much keen to give the ownership for the member state, and this was our virtue always. We have Italy and Turkey are leading from north and south the water employment migration. We have Lebanon and other countries, I can say Greece almost, leading the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus, and also the senior official and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Water told us that this water agenda and the task force work should also be responsive to national priority. So this is why also you are here in order to indicate what will work best for your member state, what will work good for the region, and those activities that you can identify all together to foster cooperation among different member states around the Mediterranean. And this is also a message that you can read it from the participants, and you can see that we have all Mediterranean from north, south, west, east around the table with their also great fellow international organization. The second message from the senior official, they ask us to build synergy. And this is why we have also mixing both water employment migration with the water energy food ecosystem nexus in order to respond to the issues now. The issue is to keep the water sector safe, sustainable, and durable. At the same time, you really want to maximize the benefit on the economic side of the story. Now, the pandemic tells us that we have to be careful about this sector, not only to keep water on the pipeline, also to keep the water available to enhance the socio-economic reality of our people. And this is the think out of the box approach that the UfM Secretariat and you all participants stated on the water agenda development and its work plan. The work plan, either the biannual or the long one, 2030, which match with the global sustainable development agenda. This is also another illustration that we are doing it now. We have with us people from the Islamic Development Bank, from the European Union, from different stream of development cooperation. They are all focusing to give the best approach to the Mediterranean. The bringing partnership, we cannot achieve any objective if we will work in isolation. So the building partnership and identifying who's doing what is another point of strong and our main strength in the Mediterranean region. This is why today in the work plan, we need to focus on the activity that will contribute to sustaining the water sector, activity that will bolster the regional and international cooperation, activity that will create a momentum that we will do more with exerting less, because we need to be efficient in resources management. The last point, water sector is not a silos. Water sector by nature is a cross-sectoral, is a horizontal, is not vertical. So this is why we need to look at other water actors and non-water actors. I don't know who are the non-water actors, because for me, the private sector are water actors, bankers are water actors. Everybody can be a water actors in case we need to sustain the water sector in the Mediterranean, and in case if we want to respond to enhance the socio-economic reality, and in case we want to create more jobs. 3 out of 4 jobs in the world and in the Mediterranean are water related. So think about this when you start giving us element to the work plan, and let us be optimistic that we can do something even online. Until that moment that we will meet again, we promise you to keep very serious, taking your action-oriented agenda into implementation. SIDA, we don't have Yusra with us today, but she explained to me that we are committed. I have with me now the new agreement for 2020-2022, signed by SIDA, supporting this water, energy, food ecosystem nexus and water employment migration as a pilot. So this pilot will be implemented directly by our great partner, GWBMIT, and other partners engaged. We will be working on inception phase within 3 months, the coming 3 months. In order to identify activity, we will spend almost 1.5 million as a pilot, and we promise you to succeed. Today, we will have the objective, as mentioned by Mr. Isidro Gonzalez, our Deputy Secretary General for Water, Energy, Water, Environment, and Blue Economy, that we need to develop this work plan from your point of view. To do so, I will give the floor to Vangelis in order to present the work plan that we will discuss. Vangelis, please, can you share the presentation on the screen with the member state? Thank you.
Can you see my screen? Yes, can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, let's get practical. And as Al-Motaz said, we should not lose time, no matter the challenges of the pandemic. In this short presentation, I will focus on 2 things. First of all, to present the 0 drafts of the work plans for Nexus and water employment migration. You have received these 2 documents yesterday. This is their very first approach. And then to focus on the synergetic framework program for the two thematic areas. You have this document since the previous meeting, the informal work meeting back in June. Let me go directly into some very basics. We have a very well-defined aim, objective, and contents for the Nexus theme, and similar we have for the water employment migration. You will find the chapters, again, the chapters of the two thematic areas at the end of the two work plans. Now, Almotaz said it before, the focus has to be on the framework program. I simply remind how we do that. We get the partners together, the partners contribute activities, the partners get more, and then the big objective is to go to the big puzzle where things will get together and will become functional through synergies. So this is the magic word, synergies. The UfM WEG meeting a year ago in Brussels was very clear. Almotaz said it again, focus on the tangible, try to operationally merge the two thematic areas in order to produce something that makes sense and can be fundable. And here we have already the good support of SIDA, as Almotaz announced. Now, let's go to the work plans, these two documents, the zero drafts. Both of them have a structure that includes a first small part that is the set the stage part. And over there, you will see activities like mapping or general kind of assessments or evaluations or surveys. And then regional and sub-regional stakeholder dialogue, either formal or non-formal. Meetings like those that we had today of the task force fall within this. Similarities for WEG and for the senior officials meeting. And then we go to the second part, which includes more information, and it is the action part, let's call it. And this is the implementation of the framework program. There, in both thematic areas, we have the 5 lines as they have been agreed by the WEG meeting. So this includes the prioritization of national and local. So you see from regional, here we go national and local, either with a Nexus or WEM action planning and investment, the implementation of local pilots for the Nexus, Nexus interventions, and an upscaling of them, promotion, employability, and entrepreneurship. So this makes the match with the WEM agenda with an emphasis on youth and women, the facilitation of investments from all kinds of sources like public, donor, and private, and last but not least, the knowledge sharing and the knowledge transfer. So these are the two major parts. You will see both of them in both task force work plans. Now, if we go into the Nexus one, you see 2 lines. The first one is more elaborate, and this looks into the small and medium scale interventions that can be in the coastal area, the urban area, or the rural area. In this part, we have some more regional activities that look into the dialogue as before, capacity building, and so on. But the important part is here. We have 3 lines, the national, the local, and the transboundary. And this includes for the countries and the basins that are mentioned here, national level, Albania, Lebanon, local level, Jordan, or Jordan, Palestine, if that becomes possible, Morocco, Tunisia, and in transboundary, we go Balkans, Drini, and Drina Basin. Over there, for this, we have the opportunity for Nexus assessments, for strategic action plans, for demos, for investment identification, for employment and entrepreneurship promotion, looking in particular into youth and women, capacity building, knowledge transfer, and gender mainstreaming. Now, how we're going to do this? Because we're going to do different things, different of these action lines in different contexts. We have some projects that provide the resources to do that. We have an ongoing project, which is the water matchmaker, as we call it, and this is number 1. And the new project that is coming up, and it was already announced by Almotaz, is number 2 phase of this. And we have the UfM and SIDA as the main political body and support. Now, we go for synergies, and as we said, a new program that comes with enough capacity is the MET program. It is a global environment facility program that is coordinated by UfM. This is an almost $50 million support by Jeff, and with a big amount in co-financing. Over there is a Nexus child project. It was launched yesterday together with the kickoff of this line, together with the Ministries of Environment that provide the constituency of UfM, and we aim for operational synergy. So part of what you see in the screen on the left side with the activities will be supported by that project. Another part by the matchmaker from Sweden, and another one when we go to the Balkans from an ongoing project, and this is on Nexus in Southeastern Europe, that is supported by the Austrian Development Agency, and it is anchored in the Regional Cooperation Council. The important dimension here is that you see three major political bodies with the Union for the Mediterranean bringing this together as a Euromed institution, and together three important donors that look into the Nexus with priority. These projects will be implemented by GWP Med and several other partners, and here we look for synergies, of course, within this, but certainly beyond this, and linking activities that could enlarge the impact and the sustainability of the project. Now, there is also a second line on the Nexus, which is not well developed yet. It has been guided for by the WEG, and this is on facilitating Nexus wastewater treatment plan promotion in the region, including with private sector engagement. We have an outline of what can be in the box, and we are looking for options for financing this. I say again, this is still under development, while the previous line of work for the Nexus is already advanced. Activities have already started, and of course they are part of projects like the three I mentioned. Yesterday we had a contribution with a technical on the capacity building and dialogue side, with a technical webinar on UfM Nexus looking into technical solutions. Now, the synergetic framework program. We know that there are overlaps. Tukba pointed that there are overlaps in the two framework programs. Here we look into the synergy as it has been guided by the WEG. So where is the synergy, and what will be the synergetic program that will prove the concept? First of all, the implementation of UfM Nexus pilot technical solutions, like those that were mentioned before. And here we look into increasing natural resource efficiency, raising crop productivity, for example, per drop and per kilowatt, mobilizing alternative sources to increase the local water budget, promote innovation, technology transfer, and other lines of actions within this. Second, we look into employment and entrepreneurship opportunities to be assisted and promoted, especially in the fields that relate to such Nexus interventions, and with an emphasis on youth and women. And here we have capacity development, mentoring, and sharing of experiences at regional level. The capacity development and the mentoring will be local level, focusing in Jordan or Jordan, Palestine, and Tunisia, and we look forward to developing more such actions in other countries. And we have the line that increases and shares the knowledge that is being produced. We have discussed the need for a water employment migration assessment that would look into the bigger picture from Africa to the Mediterranean, and of course with a MENA context, and to Europe. So look at the picture of migration in its totality and how water and employment link into this. What are the challenges? What are the solutions? We want to go deeper into at the country level with market analysis assessment to see whether the UfM Nexus applications can be a line that can attract SMEs, for example. They were mentioned before by Mohammed with the Med for Jobs agenda. We want to go and look into this into detail and check the potential, assess the potential of market development, and of course, knowledge management products for technical solutions for promotion of jobs, and a very strong link with media in order to be able to reach both stakeholders, of course, and to the wider public. We look into a great number of synergies, not only this, but even more, as you see, and we are very thankful to SIDA for their support. Let me finish with, again, this slide showing where we stand. Tugba mentioned the 5 meetings for the UfM and so on. We had a lot of discussions. Today we're here. We are at the phase that the small group of partners becomes a bigger group of partners, and we move into making concrete part of the puzzle. So we have put the pieces together for at least 3 regional programs that have also national and local and transboundary applications, and we look for even more. We look for getting more pieces of the puzzle together and for filling the big white gap that we have in the middle. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vangelis, for the well-done presentation and how you were able to bring really the synergy in practice. But this is my opinion. In order to consolidate this work, we suggest that we will have a tour de table where our member state can contribute, but I don't know how I will give the floor for some of them. Maybe we can ask our member state representative to indicate that they want to speak, or I can give the floor for everybody accordingly. In order to start the process with the member state, I would like to give the floor for the representative of the European Union DG NEAR, Dr. Skoulos, in order to give some remarks on behalf of the DG NEAR as an introduction to this tour de table, and to focus also on the EU-funded program to the Mediterranean that also is a supportive element to this process, the Water Environment Support Facility. So, Professor Skoulas, please, the floor is yours. Meanwhile, I would like to call the country. I received Italy wanted to do it. Country can intervene after Mr. Skoulas. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Almotaz. I'm not actually representing DG NEAR. I'm going to make some comments and particularly inform you on the key project that is supported by DG NEAR. Already Andrew Murphy mentioned the key EU directions and future vision for the region. I hope, and everybody who took the floor mentioned our hope for the New Green Deal. I'm going to say that what it was said by all of you, including Vangelis, the emphasis on synergies goes actually beyond what it was mentioned already. And this includes the key project of supported by the EU and particularly DG NEAR, which is the WES, the Water Environment Support, which is the successor of the successful Horizon 2020 Swim Horizon that ran for more than 10 years. And this phase runs from 2019 to 2023. And all its components, there are several of its components for environment pollution protection, for water use efficiency, for monitoring and synergy with pilot demonstration projects, supporting UfM and the water and environment agendas of UfM, and capitalizing and sharing knowledge, all of them, and its 3 tools, let's say, dimensions, which is capacity building, technical assistance, and enhancing the enabling conditions, explicitly and implicitly support the WEFE, water, environment, food ecosystems agenda, and the Nexus agenda, explicitly with regional and national trainings on the practical applications of WEFE, Nexus, and the related policies and regulations. There are more than 20 activities running in this period. with capacity building trainings and pilot actions for energy, for water efficiency and energy efficiency in irrigation, in use of water and non-conventional water resources in agriculture, in the cities, for example, one is studies on silting in making dams more efficient, both from the retention and water energy production. So there are a number of very important, very concrete, down-to-earth activities. And I would like to say that there is a budget of 7 million for WES and another 6 million plus for the 7 pilot projects. And these pilot projects, all of them, have very clear WES and employment connections. So I stop here and I put the emphasis on the tangible and down-to-earth practical ways of implementing the UfM. And I think that given also the structure of the consortium and the connections to all partners and those who made already interventions, I'm sure that we have a plus result. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Skolos, for the remarks and the comments coming from the DG NEAR funded program, Water Environment Support. Sorry for that. I know that you are not talking to the DG NEAR, but I know that they told me that you will be speaking on their behalf. With this, I received actually some people raised their hand and some sent via comments. So to start the round table, I will give the floor for Italy first, for Mr. Enrico Molinaro, the Secretary General for Italian Network for Euro-Mediterranean Dialogue. Just 3 minutes, please. Everybody comment. I will cut everybody if exceed 3 minutes. Thank you. Mr. Enrico. Okay. Okay. And it seems that Enrico is not ready. So I have the second in line with me is Morocco, Siham Lerashi.
Diciamo, come dire, come se prima avessi fatto non lascia passare questo messaggio, capito? Perché io gliel'ho ribadito, ho detto guarda che io sono l'unico che sa fare cose della persona.
Wafa al-Haraqi and Siham Lerashi from Morocco. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for organizing this task force. Concerning Morocco, there is many opportunities that have emerged during the updating of water plans till the horizon of 2050. Actually, we are at the phase of finalization of the National Water Plan 2020-2050, and many opportunities that could be undertaken at this framework of Nexus could have been proposed and suggested in this plan. We can cite in this sense desalination plants that would reinforce water mobilization of the different basins of Morocco. We have also many dams that are multi-service dams that are proposed in the national dams and that would promote water employment of young people and women. The reuse also would be reinforced at the horizon of 2050. We aspire to attain a volume of exceeding 300 million cubic meter by the horizon of 2050. So this the action that has been presented by Mr. Vangelis about water reuse, wastewater treatment plant as the potential Nexus projects would interest Morocco very much. There is also the access of water use efficiency improvement. Special attention has been paid in the national water plan to the rehabilitation of multi-service canals, and this requires high energy. So this would be also a potential project of Nexus. And most importantly, there is a newness that has emerged by this with this national plan, which is the interconnections between the main basins to balance between water availability between basins. We have about 4 main projects, and which are huge projects that require very high energy bills, and that would require deep thoughts about mixing this energy solutions to serve water mobilization and reinforcement. At the local level, we have the regional plans, which are called PDER, which are also under finalization by river basin agencies. And all these strategic orientations and guidelines that have been addressed in the National Water Plan would be respected at the regional level by river basin agencies. And it could be there could be new other projects at the local level that would be suggested by stakeholders during consultations and discussions which will take place soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al-Mu'taz, and thank you for the audience.
Thank you very much, Siam, for the comments. Now I give the floor back to Mr. Enrico Molinaro, the Secretary General for Italian Network, for your Mediterranean Dialogue.
Thank you, Al-Mu'taz. Hello to everybody. Many old friends have been meeting in this year's in the Water Expert Group. Just very briefly, I want to give you an information that is somehow potentially related to all your projects and activities, because in relation to what our ambassador, a member of the senior official meeting of the UfM, Ambassador Granara, regarding the planned Ponza Prima Med event, where not only the Secretary General Nasser Kamel, but also Grammenos Mastroianni, the Deputy Director General, Secretary General, and Al-Mu'taz Abadi are invited as speakers. We have a goal very ambitious, because we have a villa in the island, in this beautiful island of a villa of 700 square meters with the 7,000 square meters garden that we want to use at your disposal, all of you, as a laboratory for innovation and research on the 3 main goals of the Prima Foundation, which is the name to the event, Ponza Prima Med, which are very close to your work. Food security, including water, fight against the climate change, and circular economy. So this will be at the disposal of the talented youth and women in the Mediterranean who want to study and make research on this topic, under the direction of the UfM and the Prima Foundation in Barcelona. And I hope you will be soon have the opportunity after the COVID emergency to come to the island to see it, because it's really beautiful. And as Minister Granada pointed out, this is the same archipelago where Europe was born, because in the first, from 1937 until 39, all the main political prisoners were confined, including Altiero Spinelli, and in 1949 he was deported to Ventotene, where he published secretly the manifesto, the Ventotene Manifesto for Europe, that will celebrate next year the 80th anniversary. We also hope to give, in that occasion, with all your ideas that will be delivered by Al-Mu'taz, some hints for in anticipation of the summit of the 25th anniversary of Barcelona, planned for November 26. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Enrico, for this. We take on board your comments about this UfM lab in Italy. We will see and discuss it thoroughly on 14th of September. Thank you very much. Now, I have also the raised hand from France, from our colleague Auriela Julien. You can take the floor. Okay. Okay, it seems that she's not connected anymore. So I go to the second online in Spain, Conchita Marcuelo.
Yes, hello?
Yes, Conchita, floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving me the floor, Motaz. Hello, everyone. Speaking from the General Directorate of Water from the Ministry for the Ecological Transition and the Demographic Challenge. And I just would like to share the Spanish point of view of this issue of the UfM Nexus. We have in Spain, we have the more or less the idea, at least in the water field, that this debate of the UfM Nexus is always promoted by only the water side. And we also think that there are other stakeholders in the other part of the Nexus that should be present in this debate. But given said that, I would like to share also that that in Spain, at least, we see this nexus as part of the integrated water management process for water resources planning and water resources management. And I think that the Agenda 2030 gives us the tool of the integrated water resources management from the water side for integrating the other areas of the nexus, in particular the food, well, all the area, food, energy, and ecosystems. And in Spain, we've got a lot of examples through the river basin management plans, and also from the management operations of the water infrastructure that could share as examples of how this nexus can work, at least from the planning side, taking into account the allocation process of water for different sectors, given in mind that we have to comply with our regional environmental standards in Europe, and also provided that we've got an institutional framework for sharing this allocation process between the stakeholders and also the institutional process of decision taken at river basin level. So resuming from Spain, we think that we've got a lot of things to share in the region through the integrated water management side, and from the water allocation process, and how to institutionalize these issues, and how to make a legal framework for them, and to provide a floor for this dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Conchita, for this. We are taking on board also the Massar funded program by the ACID in this process, and your note will be taking, and we can discuss those also bilaterally in order how to advance the Nexus approach also in Spain, and how to make benefit for other member states from your experience in tackling the Nexus aspects. I have, according to my list, I have Turkey, Togba, and then Palestine, Hadil, and Israel Audit Fixed Lab, and then I will go to the international organization. I have some comments from Mid-City. So let us start with Togba, please, Turkey.
Thank you, Almatos, for giving the floor. Professor Michael Scola's speech, he mentioned the capacity building I want to say, as Turkish Water Institute, we have experience in capacity building, and we have trained nearly 1,000 experts from the countries, neighborhood countries, and the Africa and the other countries, from the Africa region and the other countries. And we have experiences, and we have, we can support the process, not only the water employment and migration task force, also we can support the Wi-Fi task force. Also, I want to mention, we also the coordination office of the Blue Peace in the Middle East initiative, and we have a project regarding the water use efficiency in the irrigation in the Middle East. We are focusing on the countries Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, and Turkey. And we also published a training manual regarding water use efficiency. And also I can share the document from the chat box. Thank you for the floor. Thank you, Almata.
Okay, thank you, Tugba. Now I have actually also Egypt and France again asking the floor. So I will give Hadil now, and then we go for Israel, then Egypt, and then France, if that is okay. Hadil.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, how are you? I hope everyone is safe and have good days regarding coronavirus. You can hear me, right? Mataz?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, thank you. For Palestine, I wanted to update you about the situation and the planning phase in Palestine. We are in the phase of updating the strategic strategy for the Palestinian government, covering the period of 2021-2023. And also in this strategy, we are taking into consideration the Nexus and the climate change and everything. We have 4 programs now starting in Palestine. One is funded from AFD, and it will be ended in the end of 2020. We have other 3 programs regarding adjustment of agriculture adjustment and climate change, and they are funded by Green Fund, the Irish Aid, and Green and AFD also. We are very glad to have this fruitful meeting, and we look forward to participate in the concrete outcomes of this meeting. And thank you, and stay safe. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Hadil, giving us some remarks from Palestine. Now I will move to Israel. Oded Flexer, please, floor is yours, Oded. Technical people, can you unmute Oded? Okay.
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 Well, thank you, Almutas, for having me here, and thank you for the very nice meeting, from which I could learn many things about the synergy, about water, energy, food, Nexus. And I think that this synergy will help us to cope with the world, with changing climate and with the growing population. You have to take into account all the resources needed in order to that we can feed all the people in the world. And I think that pilot of the energy and water nexus is needed. I know that some NGOs expressed their interest in and showed work in dealing with this project of Nexus, which every country can exploit its own resources and own cheap resources. Like Jordan can exploit its desert with the radiation in order to produce energy with low cost. And Israel can help with lower energy cost, produce more water from the Mediterranean to the Palestinians, to Jordan. Everyone needed, but I think that the work plan that was shown here is interesting, and we would like to be involved in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Oded, for your intervention and for your comments. We are very happy that you are endorsing the work plan also. And now I will move to Egypt. Samal Baroudi representing Egypt. Please, floor is yours, Samal.
Hello, my intervention is about the presentation of Vangelis. I would like to highlight the importance of raising awareness about WEM and Wi-Fi concepts and the interlinkage between WEM and the other sectors like Wi-Fi and climate change resilience. I also want to highlight the importance of technology and the use of Internet of Things in order to provide jobs opportunities, especially in the agriculture sector. I also want to highlight and ask you to give attention to the capacity building and knowledge sharing activities, because it's very important now to build capacity and share knowledge about the WEM concepts and methodologies, and especially for policymakers, because this concept is not well known for them. I also want to ask you to consider adding an activity regarding mapping the migration flow in the Mediterranean region in order to identify the region of origin, of migration origin, and its reason, and correlate with it with water availability and climate change impacts and its impact on employability. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment, and we always Egypt contribution to the process very good, and we thank you also for your contribution to the Wi-Fi Atlas with the GRC. Now, allons-y maintenant à la France avec mon ami Aurélien. Aurélien Gilmore.
Aurélie, bonjour à tous, chers collègues. Je vous remercie de me passer la parole. Je représente donc le ministère de la Transition écologique en France et je remercie tout d'abord les deux groupes de travail de l'UfM pour la préparation de ces documents qui sont vraiment très intéressants. Donc j'aimerais faire quelques remarques rapides, notamment sur la note sur les actions de synergie. Donc tout d'abord, s'agissant du point 2.4 Responding to COVID-19 Impacts, je voulais souligner qu'il est effectivement important que les autorités puissent approvisionner en eau potable et en assainissement toutes les personnes, notamment les personnes vulnérables. Cet approvisionnement a été essentiel pendant la période de la pandémie et reste primordial aujourd'hui encore en situation post-pandémie, et ce pour assurer notamment la paix et la stabilité dans un certain nombre de pays. S'agissant ensuite du point 3, Content of Wi-Fi Nexus. Cette partie est centrale et permet de promouvoir les thématiques et actions transversales qui en découlent. Il s'agit d'un point très intéressant, qui montre à quel point certaines questions se recoupent d'un groupe de travail à l'autre. S'agissant notamment du point C, j'aurais aimé formuler deux remarques. Sur la mention Water Resources and the Climate Change Impacts, including Displacement. Je souhaitais souligner l'importance de prendre en compte l'impact du changement climatique, notamment sur la disponibilité des ressources en eau. Il pourrait être notamment pertinent de souligner l'importance de développer des solutions fondées sur la nature, telles que le préconise le rapport mondial des Nations Unies sur la mise en valeur des ressources en eau. Je cite juste rapidement un extrait, donc en anglais, "Nature-based solutions provide an essential means of addressing many global water challenges, while simultaneously delivering additional benefits essential to all aspects of sustainable development." Enfin, je ne serai pas très longue et je terminerai par là. S'agissant des exemples qui sont cités en page 9, il y a notamment un paragraphe Market Analysis Assessment for Wi-Fi Nexus applications in the Mediterranean to assist understanding the actual potential for development of markets around applied water efficiency technologies of Wi-Fi Nexus and non-conventional water resources types, assessing feasibility of their penetration in sectors like urban, rural, tourism, industry, etc. S'agissant de cette mention, bien entendu, la France soutient les marchés de fourniture et d'accès à l'eau. Néanmoins, concernant les emplois, il faut rester très vigilant car il ne faudrait pas que les nouveaux marchés qui se créent excluent les personnes les plus vulnérables de l'accès à l'eau potable et à l'assainissement. Voilà, c'était les principales remarques qu'on avait sur ce document. Je vous rends la parole et je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup pour votre contribution. Nole Brandon Abbott. Thank you very much. My French is not so good, but at least we will take them on board. And thank you. Now I can see on the floor that I have from Joseph Canal from Mid-City. If you want to give the comments now, because you will be intervening on the session after this. Now I presume that you will give 1-2 minutes only on the presentation. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me? Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, just rapid to say thank you very much for having me here. I would like to just 2 comments. Maybe the first one more as a biologist than a Secretary General of MedCities, but I would like to highlight the last E of Wi-Fi. So I think that the general vision of the documents maybe lacks, respectfully, lacks a little of the ecosystemic approach. Since I've been working in water management policies, and I think, and I strongly believe that it's not, water policies are not successful if we don't preserve also the aquatic ecosystems. So I think that it's very important to highlight this approach as a general vision of the program and as the vision. And secondly, as a MedCities properly, I would like to remind you, and we are appearing in the text as a possible partner, but I would like to remind you that yes, we can. What we do is, and maybe we are good at, humbly, is in sharing knowledge. And maybe we, as Professor Skolu said, we like very much to make actions down to earth. So you can count on MedCities for this. We are is what we have. What we are is sharing knowledge and local level and small scale actions. We can help you in this. You can count on us.
Jose, muchísimas gracias, my amigo. We will see you in Barcelona. We take on board your comments as well.
Thank you.
Just for a matter of remark, because I see on the chat, all documents were shared before, but we still did not share the presentation. But the presentation as well as the work document of the 2 work programs that we are trying to synergize will be shared with you. Not right after the meeting, but when we integrate the comment received from different member states and different organizations. With this, I can see that there is no hand raised in the chat, and I don't receive anything on my WhatsApp and in my social media thing, so everything is okay. Okay, then I think we will pass to the second online session input by UfM partners. As I said clearly that we are working for you. We are at your disposal. So the work developed by member state and the partner. So I will give the floor now to Ms. Nuria Hernandez Mora, the the technical assistant to DG Environment, European Commission, and she's working also with us on the Mediterranean to moderate this session. So I resign now. Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you very much, Almutaz. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to spend these 2 hours with you and having heard all of your interesting and productive input that you have provided in the discussion. I'm going to be moderating this panel now. There will be 5 speakers participating, all representing partner organizations of the WEFI and UfM task forces of the UfM Water Agenda. We have asked them to share highlights of their work that are relevant for the work of the 2 task forces and to find possible complementarities with the proposed energetic framework program and action plans. In order to make progress in the guidance received in the 10th WEC meeting to focus on tangible outcomes for both thematic priorities, the contribution of the member states and the partner organizations is essential. And therefore, we're very much looking forward to your contributions. Let me remind you that we're running a little bit behind. I think it's fine because the discussion was very productive, but you have 5 minutes each. We ask you to limit your interventions to the allocated time so we can ensure we have plenty of time for contributions in the next tour de table. And so you will hear, when you have 1 minute left of the 5 minutes, you will hear a little bell, I hope it works, in your intervention in order to help you keep track of time and know that you need to wrap up. So without further ado, let me introduce the first panelist. It is Mr. Bernd Gollig of the European Commission's Joint Research Center. Mr. Gollig, you have 5 minutes and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed. I hope you can hear me. Sorry for being late. We just finished our meeting with the WHO on sewers, SARS-CoV-2 monitoring, which is also a topic coming up for sure in this context, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about the work we are about to finalize for the water, energy, food, ecosystem or environment nexus. So don't worry, I will not take too much. You may remember that we have been working over the last 18 months quite intensively in producing a book which captures the past, present and future of the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus in the Mediterranean. And I'm just showing you a quick update on where we stand right now and what will be the next steps. Basically, the book is organized in 8 chapters explaining the nexus, having a look in the incredible amount of experience culturally, but also scientifically, over 2,000 years of history in the Mediterranean culture. And we link this to the present status of best practices, which we are presenting. And we look on to the future and the requirements and recommendations we forward based on a scientific assessment, applying also the SDGs as a common meter and to which extent what we are proposing can help the region to progress into this direction. Now, the book is actually becoming a gateway, a joint effort between the European Commission, the Union for the Mediterranean and the Global Water Partnership. It presents 37 case studies illustrating the WEFA nexus. These are the case studies all over the region which we retained as being fit for purpose out of 60 proposals forwarded to us. So there was some sort of severe scrutiny in if a proposal is just business as usual or has an innovative aspect. And there have been, in the meantime, a level of high level contributions from the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, UNEC, GIZ in Germany, but also regional research centers like EURECAT in Catalonia, or the colleagues in Egypt and in Tunisia who contributed significantly. The book will be published immediately in 3 languages, the 3 working languages of the Union for the Mediterranean. And what makes it special is actually the feature of augmented reality, which makes the book a talking book. So it's not only something which you read, you look at, but there's a lot of interactivity and explanations in there. And it will be accompanied by a science and art exhibition, which hopefully we can set up in the second half of next year after the launch event, and hopefully the current situation with the virus permitting. I cannot reveal the band, but we have gained the support of a very famous pop band who is delivering the music that will deliver us some media attention. So it's an unusual effort of bringing very complex science to a broad audience. and it will be ready for sharing in December 2020. We are proposing a launch event right now, also here in close collaboration with the Union for the Mediterranean. And from Commission side, we are actually outreaching to our higher level, our high senior management, in having them present there together with some representatives from the member states, and ideally this is taking place in Cyprus. This is the one of the paintings you see there. You see very much the elements of art combined with science, and the science is quite intense. This is an example of a spread of a case study in southern Italy, where you have water reuse, creation of a new biotope, and its application of water in agriculture and in sustainable agriculture. You see here all the different type of things, which next time I hope to show you. The related app available for Android and Apple is now being in alpha testing, which means we are going some tests and animations to be checked if they work. We have received an incredible amount of project videos, photos, and other material which we're going to use. And yeah, basically this is the status update. We expect with the launch of the book that we are actually moving forward to the next step, which is to develop a sort of best practice and guidance how to roll out in a financially sustainable way the ideas and examples we could be collected on locations around the Mediterranean. And thank you for your attention. Nuri, I'm afraid you're muted.
Thank you for telling me. Yes, I was just thanking you for your time and for keeping to the time, but I've used the extra time that you had. I apologize for that. I was saying that we're very much looking forward to that publication. I think will be a great contribution to the work of both task forces. So thank you for your intervention. The second panelist today is Mr. Frederic de Dinashin, who is Senior Knowledge Management Officer at the Center for Mediterranean Integration of the World Bank. Mr. Dinashin, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Nuria. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Isidro and Almotaz. It's always a pleasure for the CMI, the Center for Mediterranean Integration, which is a multi-partner knowledge platform working on regional issues to contribute to these important discussions. And I think it's even more important in the current difficult COVID context, which makes us better realize that regional challenges have to be addressed in a systematic way and in a systemic way. Water is one of CMI central thematic programs, and we have been part in the works of this working group since 2018. We participated in 2019 in Roma, in Brussels, and also recently in the online meeting in June 2020. And we supported also the consultation and stock taking on the water employment and migration agenda. Now we are glad to join the other Nexus. One of the major challenges that our Mediterranean societies face is how to deliver water, energy, and food for all in a sustainable and equitable way. And using a traditional fragmented approach, attempting to achieve resource security independently will be suboptimal and will not work. And likewise, the water employment migration nexus poses a major socio-political, economic, and environmental risk, and synergies should be sought with neighboring countries, including from southern part of Africa and also with Europe. I think it's important because in that context, CMI fully supports the combined approach of the two nexus, which leads to a systematic approach. And I think this will help identify synergies and co-benefits that might otherwise be missed in complex production systems and supply chains. And this is essential in the case of water scarcity, where the benefits of more efficient resource, both supply and demand, are critical. But I like now to present CMI vision vis-à-vis this combined approach. And for that, I like now to focus on the three objectives laid out in the concept note you shared with us. And I think I will especially focus on the youth as a common denominator. These three objectives have a strong emphasis on youth, and youth is at the core of the CMI water program, as you know. The CMI facilitates a community of youth water practitioners called MediWatt, which is a network of over 200 young water researchers, entrepreneurs, activists from around the region, which gather to foment a common regional approach to the region's most pressing water challenges. And CMI is convinced that the youth transversal approach will help interlink and combine activities of the two nexus. And what I'm going to do now quickly is for each of the three objectives, I will explain how concretely CMI and MediWatt can contribute through concrete actions. The first objective is to implement at scale practical and pilot local water efficiency interventions, including through youth engagements. This is at the core of CMI work, and MediWatt as a platform in itself fulfills this objective through the different activities on innovative projects that are working on internally. For instance, one concrete action, CMI is leading a study now with MediWatt and other technical partners on the water security nexus in North Africa, which is exactly about that, catalyzing regional cooperation around water, climate change, migration, food security, and climate change. And MediWatt will contribute to innovative case studies to better understand the nexus in the countries of interest. The second objective, which is to promote employability and entrepreneurship, is also at the core of CMI work. And Almota, as you know, because you've recently been the juror in an hackathon organized by the CMI. It was a successful event. And after the selection of more than 150 youth, we had about 10 teams who participated in an hackathon. This is the first step of a cycle of 3 events. The next step will be a boot camp. We'll have in early 2021, and the final step will be to really bring the solutions into actual business. The third objective is to promote knowledge sharing, including interlinking related regional and national projects. And again, our work with MediWatt, with these young professionals, helps us provide some important knowledge. And I will only mention the papers, the working papers prepared by this youth. In 2019, it was on water and migration, and this year it was on water and climate change. My conclusion is that I'd like to insist on the fact that in addition to these key meetings, such as the one we have today, CMI has continuous engagement and dialogue with the UfM, GWP, CHAM, World Bank, MedCities, all the people present today, and many other key partners. And this continuous partnership allows to translate the important discussions we are having today into concrete action. And with that, I give you back the floor. Thank you, Nuria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frederic. Thank you also for being have such a focus in contribution to the CMI's contributions to the 3 objectives of the proposed synergistic framework program. Let me give the floor to Mr. Josep Canals, who is the Secretary General of MedCities. Josep, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much. Greetings from Catalonia again. I will try to share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, just fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we've been told to, and we would like to present to you a concrete action, concrete project that maybe can illustrate, can put light in some of the documents and the vision, the general concept that we've been discussing. Is the project called Valeur Gabès in Tunisia, which is for the valorization of the urban waters through actions and innovative tools. So, you can see, this is not work, okay. Well, rapidly, we are mid-cities, 61 cities of the whole three shores of the Mediterranean, as you can see, mainly from east and south. So what we do is sharing knowledge, multilateral action from interreg projects, big projects, to peer-to-peer cooperation, but always willing to making concrete actions, concrete knowledge. That's what mayors and citizens need. The context, Gabes made, in which we participated, its city development strategy according our methodology, Mid-Cities methodology, and was finished. And one of the conclusions was to, the last line, to optimize the water resources identified. This optimization as a strategic objective and priority in Gabes, with a focus on the valorization of alternative water resources. That's why, and this is because Gabes it lacks of many of the non-conventional water resource management. It has all the risks that the main of the region has, and it is an oasis. It lacks a good management of the scarce water that they have, at least at the surface. So the project itself is the leading institution is the Barcelona Metropolitan Area, which is an institution created by the Parliament of Catalonia, 36 municipalities, Barcelona and 35 more, which they are working strongly in waste management, the cycle of water, mobility, etc. We were awarded recently for the application of the demonstration projects of efficiency use of water by the European Union for the next 30 months with these partners you can see here. And I will focus on the strategic objective, which is foster the capacity of not only Gabes, but afterwards for the Tunisian cities to face the impacts of climate change through planning innovation in efficient management of urban water with an ecosystemic approach that I think is needed, as I said before. The specific objective is promote the valorization of rainwater urban areas through innovative innovation in both technical and institutional strategies in Gabes, excuse me, and then to be able to replicate this in other regions or cities on the region. 3 phases of the projects. Now we are about to commencing and first of all, we need the municipal urban rainwater plan that will be done with the participatory approach, mainly with youth and women. We want to be involved. This is key for the success of any participatory development, as been demonstrated. The vision of women, it's very different and maybe more peacefully and humanized vision for all approaches. So we need this municipal urban plan. We have prepared an awareness campaign in efficient water. Secondly, a multi-level transfer technology. It's been foreseen study missions, mainly to Barcelona, from the Gabes people, Barcelona to Gabes and other actors. And also we want to transfer and to raise awareness into private sector, and why not public sector also, to enhance systems and techniques and technologies. And the third phase would be pilot projects, concrete, tangible. This is what we like. What we want to do is feasibility and preparation studies for pilot projects execution. We want to share mainly upon the recollection and the recipients for rainwater, and also filtration systems into the soil. And the fourth phase, the capitalization, would be how we can disseminate how the lessons learned, the mistakes learned at other national and regional levels. So expected results: 1 participatory diagnosis and a master plan, 1 municipal campaign for that, 3 feasibility studies in filtration, green roofs, and wastewater treatment, which has to be improved, already exists. 2 study of knowledge sharing missions, technical training, 1 training to entrepreneurs and urban rain recovery solutions, 3 pilot projects, 1 on buildings, 2 on rainwater filtration techniques, 1 communication plan, 1 project monitoring, 1 capitalization. The key elements: we will build capacity on urban water cycle
Joseph, you need to wrap up.
Okay, good
Sorry.
governance and innovation, both in institutional and technical. Regional, we are tackling many of the documents we have been discussing in UfM Nexus, UfM agenda, focus on jobs, creation jobs in private and maybe in public sector with innovation of saving water and efficiency solutions. Small scale, we can do that. And Mid-Cities Network can be a good partner, we think, in other projects to do that, and a complementary to these projects that we've been discussing as a that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Josep, for this very, I think, very relevant practical experience that I think will be of interest and useful. There's been some requests in the chat to share the website. If you can do that in the chat, share the website of the project so others can look at it. That would be great. I will pass the floor to the fourth panelist today. It is Mr. Marwan Al-Ragat, who is the Executive Director of the Inter-Islamic Network on Water Resources Development and Management. Mr. Al-Ragat, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for giving the floor. I will share my presentation. I would like to present the approach of INWARDAM, the Inter-Islamic Network for Water Resources Development and Management in the UfM Nexus for social cohesion and enhancing working conditions at the farm level. This approach was developed through a comprehensive dialogue with our member states and focal points of different governments within INWARDAM. Considering the 19 member states, we created this approach through the last few months to be adopting in the coming 5 years of INWARDAM working vision. So we can see, as per the dialogue with our focal points, we can see that most of the countries in the Middle East, North African region, they have existence of food policies, but often these are largely not realized due to water insecurity and livelihood challenges of local farmers. Also, the governmental food security strategies, plans and policies are often sketchy and not based on good data and entail sometimes options that are neither up-to-date or nor comprehensive. We need also to build on strategies of selected regions to identify SDGs trade-offs and synergies to fill the policy gaps within the food security sector. The sustainable practices and entrepreneurial solution with high impact food value chain, water saving and enhancing water productivity need to be tested and prioritized for sector development and for youth and women employment. And finally, the decision makers should recognize the potential of selected entrepreneurial in the development solution and engage to enhance dissemination, replication, and scale up of different projects. We at INWARDAM believe in the holistic approach to solve the problem related to water shortage and the related societal challenges. We believe in the importance of UfM Nexus for social development and the social demands in the MENA can be summarized as to increase year-round income and to improve working conditions and social cohesion and to create more jobs. For sure, we need a lot of tools and at INWARDAM through our WISE vision, the Water Innovation for Sustainable Economy. We established the tools needed to achieve the UfM Nexus at the farm level through circular economy, the use of non-conventional water resources and renewable energy, also to work at irrigation efficiency, considering that the irrigation efficiency in the MENA region is in the range of 60 to 70%, and there is a big margin to save water and to enhance agricultural productivity. There is a high demand to support small farmers with tool, equipment, and modern techniques to support their agricultural income and to sustain good working conditions. Also, we noticed that there is a high demand for public-private partnership to sustain agribusinesses and to create and to help farmers in finding the market linkages in order for better marketing of their products. So we can see the water energy food ecosystem nexus as the core of this whole process. And that comes through connection of farmer to different aspects from existing farms, farm workers, local and international buyers through the market linkages and the home-based businesses through the mentioned tools of non-conventional water reuse and create market linkages. Also, as the Middle East North African countries are considered as one of the most vulnerable areas to climate change and natural and man-made disasters, we are trying in order to develop or to use the artificial intelligence to enhance resilience of local community through applying the concept of disaster risk reduction, early warning system for natural disasters, and also for man-made and other disasters such as pandemics and agricultural diseases. And this is highly needed considering what we are facing now through the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the whole food chain and on the working conditions for the farmers. We also see there's a high potential to connect the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus to the science, as there is a high demand for science, policy, and stakeholder dialogue towards the UfM nexus. We can consider our network as UfM is representing the Organization of Islamic Countries, that we are having one of the highest percentages of researchers per population. So this strength can be used. The strength can be used to support the demand-driven research, also to bridge the gap between science and policy making, and to achieve an evidence-based knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Al-Ragat, for highlighting the key roles of obviously the agricultural side of the UfM Nexus and the role of science and financing. I will pass the floor to the last speaker of the panel today. That will be Mr. Nizar Sayed, who is the Global Lead for Water Social Infrastructure Division of the Economic and Social Infrastructure Department of the Islamic Development Bank. Mr. Sayed, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, actually. Can you see my presentation and the
Yes, we see it perfectly. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. So I would be just talking for a few minutes about how the bank can contribute to the nexus and the water employment migration. The first thing, this is quickly what the few points I will be talking about in the next few minutes. First of all, the first thing that the bank has done recently, the main development is that we are working on our water policy. And I'm pleased to see some of our colleagues around this discussion who have been also with us in the consultation which we did in mid-June. Vangelis, our colleague Tugba from Turkey, I think, and I think Anwar, I think Marwan Ragad, etc. As you can see, I will not bother you much with our policy, but basically, and Vangelis mentioned this earlier in his presentation, the magic word is synergy, and exactly that's what we are really aiming for in our policy. Synergy, internal synergy with different sectors, with the synergy with the energy, with health, with education, with different sectors within the bank, and synergy with other partners outside the bank, building partnerships, etc. This is the first development I think I wanted to share with you about the development in the water sector. Also, recently, last year, the bank has its own women empowerment policy. It's the first one in the bank's history, and it puts emphasis on women's effective engagement in socio-economic development, i.e. contribution, women empowerment, basically, be it, of course, economic empowerment for any activities, including, of course, the water sector. We have also recently adopted our youth development strategy to empower young people and the youth, and we will see some examples how this is happening. This has already happened in the bank. We are also currently working on guidance notes on how to mainstream women and youth roles in the water sector in general. This is under preparation. The first action example I wanted to share with you is what we call the YES program. YES program is the Youth Employment Support Program, and it started in 2011 after the start of the Arab Spring, because we realized that the MENA region, many young graduates actually are unemployed, and these people actually end up risking their lives and crossing the Mediterranean to go to the northern border of the Mediterranean, and of course it creates a lot of we know the death and the human toll on this, etc. So the bank approved a package of $250 million for the countries in the Mediterranean and the MENA region, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, and Yemen. And the objective is to reduce youth unemployment by creating, fostering youth entrepreneurship, give them the spirit actually of how to be entrepreneurs, not only being civil servants in the government. And the program is articulated around two activities, main activities. First of all, building their capacity to create MSCs. It's not a typo, it's micro and small enterprises, not, and plus of course, providing them of seed money for financing their activities. So the YES program in Egypt was completed in 2016. It was for $53 million, and it helped improve, create 24 MSCs. It helped also create 80,000 employment opportunities, and then training, of course, to the young and entrepreneurship. Also, we would believe that if we can enable universities to not only to train people, but also to train people on entrepreneurship, helping them in creating their own activities. And of course, this will help reduce unemployment and migration. And of course, when I say entrepreneurship, it could be in any sector, including the water sector, of course. In Tunisia, the amount of the program, the YES program, was for $50 million. By the bank, by the Islamic Development Bank, and $25 million were provided by the government of Tunisia. And what we can see here, there were 52 green companies actually established, and this is really related to the debate, the discussion we are having today. Another example of successful experience, if you want, is that we in Morocco, we financed the water supply for Fez and the area of Taza in Morocco 2 years back. It was completed. It was for $50 million, the program, the project. And at the end, the project has helped him create and provide access to water supply services for about 315,000 people. But what's important here is that the Office National de l'Électricité et de l'Eau Potable in Morocco, for O&M, delegated services to SMEs. So they encouraged the youth actually to create their own SMEs and provided them with specialized training so that they can undertake their tasks successfully. I saw also in the note on synergetic actions, there was a discussion about COVID. So I wanted to finish my this short presentation, but to give you a quick overview about what the bank has been doing for COVID-19. Immediately after the beginning of April, actually, we had what we call the Strategic Preparedness and Response Program, SPRP, for a total budget of $2.3 billion, and it has three phases, three approaches, if you want. We have the respond, which is the immediate action, the recover, intermediate action, and then restore livelihoods, social activities, and lives. So two key components of the program currently: the health emergency response and preparedness. So of course, it's quite normal that our member countries, Mediterranean region or in other parts of the world, were approaching us for budget support and for actually acquiring PPE and medical equipment, etc. And the second phase, the second component of this program will be sustaining and reviving the economic and social sectors. And here, of course, we believe that the water sector, financing water, sanitation, hygiene in general, will have a lion's share in this, simply because, as we know, water, sanitation, and hygiene are the first line of defense in fighting COVID-19. With this, I conclude my presentation, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sayed. All five, I think, were really very, very relevant, practical presentations for the goals of the session. I'm sorry that we have so limited time given the format of the meeting, of the online meetings, but thank you all for keeping to the time. We received another contribution, which we're not going to read out, but I just wanted to mention it. Miss Michela Mileto of UNESCO World Water Assessment Program sent a written, they couldn't be with us today, unfortunately, but they sent a written contribution. They are leading the task force on the WEM pilot assessment project together with the volunteer countries, Lebanon and Palestine, and the Women for Water Partnership, which is a partner in the project. They have sent us an update of where they are at the project and in the assessment, and we will include that information in the minutes of the meeting. But for the interest of time, given that it is 3:30, I am going to immediately pass the table to Vangelis in order to moderate the tour de table that is upcoming now. Again, thank you to all the panelists, and Vangelis, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nuria. These were really great contributions, and I believe that each one of you, I'm certain that each one of you has put a part of the puzzle in the big picture. And we will already use many of these because they have been information that we were aware of, but also new things like activities by the Islamic Development Bank, for example, very specific, that at least by hearing them, we see them fitting well in the big picture. So we certainly get there. And this will be part of the inception period also for the new project that is supported by SIDA, but also with other activities. Now, immediately to the interventions, I see 3: Egypt, Aqua, and Bassem Saleh. Let me start immediately with Egypt. Amira? Amira?
Oui, bonjour. Bonjour tout le monde. Alors, je voudrais porter votre attention concernant les présentations qu'on vient de voir, qu'il faut faire attention aux cartes géographiques, parce que j'ai remarqué que les frontières d'Égypte ne sont pas respectées. Alors, il faut se référer toujours aux sources officielles du pays concerné. La frontière sud d'Égypte est une ligne droite aux latitudes 22 nord. Alors, c'est une remarque vraiment qui revient souvent parce que toujours on utilise des cartes, je ne sais pas, ce ne sont pas les cartes officielles qui sont distribuées par les services officiels d'Égypte. Je vous remercie.
This point well taken. Let me turn to Khaldun. Khaldun Kaspan from Aqua. Khaldun.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank my guests from UfM and you, Bengales. It's a long time to be with you. But I think this is a good opportunity again to wrap all that disconnection and lack of communication between Aqua and our colleagues in the Union for Mediterranean. I just want to highlight one thing. Well, Aqua is aware always about this the new challenges of climate change, of water, food, energy nexus, and environment, of course, and the matter of wash also, where it should be taken into consideration. Therefore, for the last 2 years, Aqua managed to develop more than 34 certified training programs in water systems and wastewater systems, including the reuse and the sanitation safety plan, industrial, water quality, laboratory accreditation, water distribution, non-revenue water, etc. All the technical issues related to the water and wastewater systems, and we can share it with you. Of course, it's certified and revised with ABC, American Board of Certification in Florida, and the water office in Sacramento University, and certified by SACA, the Center of Accreditation and Quality Assurance in Jordan. Besides that, we should not ignore the leadership empowerment, where we are, Mr. Mohammed Edweri, my friend and my colleague, knows that we have a problem in the lack brain drain in the water sector in the Arab region, where people are going for different opportunities, reform and other things. But we have to talk about empowering them in risk management, in financial mobility, especially, and of course, in private sector participation, and of course, regulatory of this private sector participation, At the other hand, the new training model developed was the water governance management tools, which include the climate change, the allocation of resources, the water budgeting, decision tools to improve the decision makers, how to allocate their water resources. And here the Ministry of Water has a good model of WIPI called. Again, or the TSM, Total Safety Management. And of course, all these training programs was implemented in the region. And you remember my friend, Mr. Vangalis, that we were partners in the SWIM 1 and 2. So here we can say that Aqua could have any role in the building capacity. And if you need this whole package, we can share it with you. I don't know, to Murtaz or GWP, you can tell me to look in the future. Now, regarding to the Nexus and food and energy, at the same time, we developed energy management tools where we check all the utilities and see where are the areas to reduce energy. As Mohammed Dweri, my friend, said, yes, it's 50% of the cost, but some treatment plants in Jordan, even like Zay, it is 80% of the operational cost. With increase in energy costs in the region, now most of the utilities in the Arab region are facing losing money and not reaching even the operational cost of water. Therefore, we are here. We can be partner once you need that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Khaldun. The work of Aqua over the years, over the decades, is so much appreciated by everybody, and we definitely look forward to synergies. You bring together a great network of Arab water utilities that provide for the safe water and for sanitation. So it is the service is critical. It goes without saying, especially during the COVID crisis. You have done an excellent job. So we very much look forward to the synergies. It goes without saying. Thank you again. Bassem, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vangalis. Hello, everybody. And I think this has been very informative, and I look forward to receiving the presentations. As a private sector actor and an advisor to several of the organizations on this call, I just want to stress the fact that the private sector and the involvement of the private sector is extremely important for sustainability of interventions. For two reasons. One, the selection of sustainable interventions becomes easier when you think about how such interventions will act economically for those being served. And two, moving an intervention to the hands of or the support of the private sector post closure of an intervention makes it more sustainable. And this has been proven, and it has become a fact that donors and international partners actually mandate private sector intervention and inclusion in interventions today. So looking at what GWP intends to do, I think the design of those pilot projects should include the additional value of private sector, because we understand what it takes to keep something going, for lack of a better expression. I just want to stress this, and we are available to support in any way. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. The role of the private sector has been highlighted so much over the years, especially with the SDGs approach, and the examples we have in the region are not so many. So we very much look forward in making the difference and promoting this synergy through very practical collaborations, and we'll definitely get back on that. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks.
I see two countries that have asked the floor, Morocco through Siham and Israel with Olga. Let me start with Morocco. Siham.
Yes, thank you, Vangelis. just have one remark. I agree with the madam from Egypt. For Morocco, also the border has not been respected in one of the presentations. The two comments, I'm very happy to see that there are many initiatives, projects led by our partners. I think for the member countries, it will be very useful for us, at least, to share with us more materials, links, to know furthermore about these initiative studies, and maybe we can be one of the partners of some initiatives. Thank you.
Siham, I think we all share the feeling that we need more sharing of information, and I believe that UfM is the proper vehicle to do that, and as GWP-Med will be happy to assist. Olga, to you.
Thank you, Vangelis, and hello, everyone. I would like to thank UfM, all the member countries, and all the partners for a fruitful and interesting meeting that is aiming to practical solution and cooperation. We see great importance in having this meeting, especially in this challenging period when all countries are making every effort to overcome the effects of the pandemic. In this context, I would like to suggest that we will emphasize at the governmental levels that the water sector needs to be kept in a high level of national priorities and not put behind in this emergency times. And in this regard, concerning the proposed working plan of the Nexus of Water, Energy, Food Security, I would like to suggest that we will highlight the immediate relevance of its implementation with the SDGs of water, energy, and reduce of hunger, because in this specific plan, I didn't see that it was mentioned. And thank you all. Hoping to see you all face to face when we are back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olga. Very well taken points, and we will adjust according to this. In the chat, we had interventions by Eunice from Sarah and by Zawad from Medrec. Thank you very much for this. Are well registered and will be part of the report of the meeting. As it is now, I see no other interventions, and we're already late, but for good reason. So with that, let me shift to Anthi. Anthi Bruma, who will give us a summary of the conclusions. Anthi?
Yes, thank you. And hello, everybody, with a bit of delay. We're not going to take a lot of time, simply to share some of the highlights. This was indeed a rich meeting with several committed partners. Let me share that over 60 participants remained active throughout our meeting, representing 18 countries and more than 20 regional organizations. And this is a great trend, inshallah, signifying a tradition of all the UfM water agenda meetings. So we've heard from the UfM institutional partners, the co-presidencies. We've heard from the theme leaders and selected partners, including regional organizations, development partners, and private sector actors of the UfM and WIFI themes of the water agenda. It seems, well, we can all recognize that there is an agreement that the COVID pandemic has put temporarily a slowdown, if you like, in our joint work, and has placed pressure on already challenging water circumstances. Nonetheless, the shared feeling is that this hardship has made us more determined for solutions, and COVID has also forced us to reconsider our concepts and think across divisions of work. So all speakers today identified the intersections of the two themes, the water employment migration and the water energy food ecosystems nexus, and the benefits from drawing upon synergies. Today was about being a bit practical and discussing how to get into tangibles by taking actions on concrete steps. There was positive response to the two work plans of the two thematic priorities of the water agenda and the synergetic framework program. As it was mentioned from several speakers, there is a plethora of initiatives and out there, indicating the wealth of work that is being done in our region. And at the same time, there is this extremely high interest for synergies. Synergies again was heard over and over again, along with the word puzzle that was mentioned several times. All these contributions are part of this puzzle, assisting with creating the bigger picture with due attention to youth, women, employability, and entrepreneurship opportunities. So we need to make it practically happen, showing how well countries and partners can work together within the UfM framework. With regards to the next steps and where we go next after today's meeting, let me turn to Almotaz to provide this and also close our today's session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy, for this summary. It's very concrete. Thank you very much. And I trust and I depend on you to put those as ink on paper in order that we can advance to the next step. So the next step, after Her Excellency Andy Bruma will prepare this report, we will share this report with you for comments, and we will give you a deadline as usual, but we will be very flexible because we are afraid from you guys. You are the owner of the process. And after that, we will send this on silent procedure for the Water Expert Group meeting in order to attend their blessing as usual or their comments on general term. After having this done, we will share with you the final, what we call it, the state of play of the summary report. Hopefully that we will have another week that will take physical, hopefully that the sanitary situation will allow us to do so. Otherwise, we will go for another form of online consultation for week meeting toward approving this document. Meanwhile, we are doing so. This program will be elaborated by us at the Union for the Mediterranean and our partner GWP Med in order to start what we call it the inception phase to implement the new agreement with CEDA that during your intervention, Andy and Nori, I was giving comment to my financial department in order to conclude the last signature. So we will have the inception phase in order to very well design the procedure in accordance to the result of this meeting. And we will have an opportunity to go for silent procedure to fine-tune more at the practical level. We don't have a lot of time. We have only 1.5 years to conclude this project in order to, we call it a proof case. Like we want to prove the concept of the Wi-Fi by doing small scale. We will engage international organization as well as private sector. And we will start from where there is success story. We will see where to start there. Having said so, we are committed to the principle of ownership and partnership. We will keep this spirit in order to enhance the cooperation in this region. This region is suffering from climate change, is suffering from water stress, and now we saw that it's also suffering and was suffering from the pandemic. So we need to keep our eyes and we need to keep our efforts, brain and muscles in order to foster cooperation in this Mediterranean. Without you, we cannot do anything. And without thanking our great team, we cannot also succeed. So I will thank our great team from both organizations, starting by Miriam Gonzalo, our professional assistant, from Saeed, from the administration, Elaine, Andy, Zoe, Konstantin, Alex, myself, maybe Andy and Mr. Bangales, all the two teams from both organizations. And I would like to thank the leadership of Mr. Isidro Gonzalez, my friend from Spain. He's the Deputy Secretary General of this house. And I would like to especially thank Nuria, our great advisor working with the DG Environment also, and Marion Karam for providing communication. All the team, thank you very much, and we will keep in touch. Have a safe stay at home and try to enjoy staycation or vacation as you wish. With that, I thank you very much and thank you again. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.